GM has dropped a bomb on us today, guys. We get to see the 2026 new interior changes, but there's more. There is a bunch of changes coming for 2026 that you haven't seen yet, including 10 piston front calipers for a ZR1. Yeah. The C8 ZR1, the braking's getting a massive update. Let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. This is Horsepower Obsessed, and this is the channel where you will find all of the Corvette information you need, whether it is news, rumors, leaks, maintenance items, ownership experiences. If it's Corvette you seek, Corvette you will find here on this channel. So today, like I said, GM dropped a bomb and gave us all of the 2026 model year updates, and there's actually a lot of them, and a few that you haven't actually noticed yet. Let's jump right into it. Starting right off the bat, we're going to just play the video from GM, the 2026 refreshed interior video from GM, where they show all the interior updates, but they don't really talk about all of the changes. We'll discuss it after we show the video. Check this out.
The overall design goal for the new Corvette interior was to take what we had before and really enhance the experience. There's so much attention to detail in the way all the different parts and pieces of the interior come together. We've got these beautiful materials, and then we've contrasted that with these beautiful displays and all this technology that helps make it very accessible to the driver. Everything about the car is just built around the driver experience. So it's just all of these details together really combine to form this beautiful sense of luxury.
So that is the video straight from GM. What you don't necessarily see in that video is a couple of interesting things that you'll find in some of the pictures that have been shared from Car and Driver and other websites like that. Obviously, we have the new updated 3 screens. So the leftmost screen is going to display some of your more important information like tire pressure and things like that. You can customize that. Your center speedometer area, which is very similar to what we have now, but slightly larger and more high resolution, as well as new updated graphics. On the right, we have the bigger, finally bigger infotainment system screen, and then of course the updated center console, which we've seen a lot of this stuff already, guys. Like I said, I've shared this months past because I've seen this interior for quite some time now. Moving down that center console, we can see where the transmission controls are, and then the toggle switch for the mag ride control, which we had talked about in a previous video being a toggle instead of a dial at this point. The only real surprise I'm seeing with the interior that I didn't know of already was an odd one that GM didn't really talk about too much, and that is you can now have a red driver's seat with a black passenger seat. Yeah, if you look at this picture, you can actually see this. The driver's side is red and the passenger side is still black with red stitching. Very odd, but kind of cool at the same time. Now, in this picture, you can also see the waterfall behind the driver's side seat is still there, and it still has a little cup holder, phone holder thing back there where the wireless charger was originally. That looks unchanged, which is kind of interesting because it doesn't need to be like that anymore. But either way, they obviously just won't put the wireless charger in there, and instead the wireless charger is up underneath the infotainment system like we've shown in the past. Now, the only thing we get to see here is obviously everything put together. That's new to see that all together, whereas we've seen pieces of it in the past. So it is interesting to see all of this, and at the same time, we get to see some of these buttons underneath the infotainment system screen actually lit up the way that they're going to light up, and then the rest of the buttons there are white. Minus, of course, the power button, which looks like it will light up orange. So it's kind of interesting to see a little bit of a dash of color on the interior. Now, where things get even more interesting is those cup holders. So we've talked about the cup holders in the past. I've shown them off in the past. They're interesting because they're completely open. There is no cover that goes over top of them anymore, but we also get that C8 Corvette flag insignia at the bottom there, and there is going to be ambient lighting around them. Now, we talked about the ambient lighting in the past as well, but what we've seen so far shows the ambient lighting at only the cup holder. I don't know that the interior is going to get any further ambient lighting to match those cup holders, but it would be kind of interesting if it did. Either way, the cup holders are definitely getting ambient lighting. They have the Corvette insignia in there, and it actually looks a lot better than I thought it would with the open cup holder perspective. Now, again, some of the aspects of the screen are changing, so we're going to get higher resolution, things like that. But when we're looking at this particular photo here from the video that was just played, you can see the sport mode actually looks significantly different. So we have all the temperatures over on the left, the coolant on the far left, your radio station or song you're listening to on the right, and then the gas gauge on the far right. And the RPM gauge looks totally different. Of course, all the background colors and everything look different. So this was definitely something that's been redesigned as well. In this photo, you can see what's going to be track mode on the screen, looking pretty similar to what we have currently, just slightly updated. The hockey stick, so to speak, up at the top is still there, but it just extends further out to be even more noticeable while driving competitively. You have your tire pressure there on the right, battery charge there too for the E-Ray, and then over on the left, you still have the 4 tiles that you can customize to show whatever information you would like to see. So ultimately, the biggest change here with the screen is you can tell by looking at it, it is slightly bigger and it's going to be higher resolution, but all the graphics have been reworked. In the video, they show a couple different things happening with the center infotainment screen, and right off the bat, it looks very, very, very responsive. Now, this has been one of my complaints with the C8 Corvette for quite some time. The infotainment system screen is not as responsive as I think it should be. Even in the 2023 and older models, it was better than the newer Google system, but at the same time, it still wasn't as responsive as I thought it should be. And this looks like it is getting far, far, far more responsive, which is great for everybody. Now, it does say we are also getting an enhanced performance data recorder, so your PDR for track footage and stuff like that is going to be enhanced to some degree as well. Possibly better than 1080p recordings, but obviously, as you can see on the screen here, a lot more information that's going to be available as well. So it's not just cosmetic, guys. We're getting an update to the actual speed of the system, updated graphics, updated usefulness. Now, even outside of that, we get something that's even more advanced and something that not a lot of conversation is happening around, and that is the new roof for the coupe. It is a transparent roof, but at the same time, you can select just how transparent it is. By a press of a button, you can change how dark the glass is on the top with this new electrochromatic glass option. Now, obviously, in the past, GM has offered the glass roof option on the Corvettes. That's been nothing new, but this particular one allows you to change how dark it is. So if you want to be able to see the sky and everything really nicely, you can clear it up, or you can, with a press of a button, make it darker. So in the past, people have actually tinted those removable glass roofs, and now you're not really going to have to worry about that because this is going to be something you can do on the fly, which is really awesome. Now, outside of that, there are other changes too. Like I said, you can, for some reason, select a red seat for the driver's side and black for the passenger side. I still don't really understand why anybody would want to do that, but it is an option there. Now, another thing we're going to get with the 2026 model year is a new spoiler. Right now, it looks like the car that they're showing in the reveal trailer looks like a competition yellow E-Ray, and sure enough, at one point you could see it sitting in the frame from the back, and there is clearly a new spoiler being offered for at least the E-Ray. Now, before any of you go, no, that's the Z06, you can actually see the outboard exhaust on the left and right hand side of this image, and you can clearly see this is a new spoiler offering. So as of now, the E-Ray didn't really have a high wing option, but now it looks like it does. And this is kind of a split between the current Z06 spoiler and the current Z51 spoiler offered for the Stingray. It's kind of neat. I dig it. It's a 3-post spoiler. Definitely gives the back end of that car a better look than just your typical low wing option. So a couple different options coming here for the 2026 model year outside of just the new interior options. So nice to see Chevy is really starting to step this thing up. I'm really liking the new interior, to be honest with you. It looks far better than the images that I have seen in the past. This is definitely coming together to form something a little bit more sporty than the images separately in the past that I've seen. There are going to be new color options for the seats as well. We've talked about that a little bit in the past, talking about the new colors coming for the interior. One of them is going to be like a cobalt blue, almost a purplish blue, but not quite hysteria purple blue. So in these pictures, you can see it is definitely a really deep blue, possibly slightly purplish, but like I said, I've seen this in person and it will not match the Hysteria purple, and nor will it match perfectly the Riptide blue. So this interior is kind of its own thing. There is, of course, the Sky Cool Gray and Medium Ash Gray is what it's called, with habanero accents. So you're going to get an orange and a white kind of combination to the interior. Definitely different. We're getting different options, and I guess that's pretty much all you can ask for. Again, we get the asymmetrical Adrenaline Red. Of course, we can't have the interior updates without showing some Adrenaline Red. Now, obviously, the reason this one is called asymmetrical Adrenaline Red is because it gives you that red driver's seat and the black passenger seat. So it's asymmetrical. And in this photo, you can also see the buttons underneath the screen and how they change with the stealth interior package. So definitely more of a darkened black chrome look than without the stealth interior package. You can also clearly see in this photo the cup holders are matching the interior color as well. The next one is called Very Dark Atmosphere with Natural Tan Accents. This looks almost like a chocolate color. It's definitely not one that I would go for, but it is an interesting option. It's out there for everybody. And at the end of the day, whenever we're offered options, we all win. At the Car and Driver website, they go over all this stuff and they kind of sum it all up in a couple different bullet points to make this easy. So it says the 2026 Corvette receives notable interior changes, namely Chevy tore down the wall of buttons between passengers. The dash now features a trio of screens, including a larger 12.7-inch center touchscreen and a new 6.6-inch display left of the steering wheel. Every 2026 Vet, Stingray, E-Ray, Z06, and ZR1 has these updates, as well as fresh interior color options and newly optional electrochromatic glass roof. They don't talk about the new spoiler option, but obviously we got to see it in that video. So whether it is available just yet or not, it is coming for at least the E-Ray. They go on to say that all the HVAC controls now live on the bezel underneath the center screen, which we've seen and we talked about already. And there still is a physical volume knob, and it's bigger than before apparently, which is nice. They say that the digital gauge cluster, which I've talked about a couple times being bigger and higher resolution, has grown from 12 inches to 14 inches. So it is 2 inches bigger, not a gigantic difference, but I knew that there was a bigger screen there. That obviously opens up a little bit additional room for higher resolution graphics and the change in graphics like we've seen. The center touchscreen goes up from 8-inch up to 12.7 inches. So definitely a welcome change there. The screen is much larger and again, higher resolution. And it does still use Google, which is unfortunate because I didn't really love the change on the 2024 and 2025 model years, but hopefully this will be better. That's the only thing I haven't gotten to see in person, is how that screen works and how responsive it is. So based on the video, it looks like it's going to be pretty responsive, but that is to be seen. The onboard performance app that was exclusive to the E-Ray is now universal, so anyone can track metrics such as acceleration times and G-forces through that center infotainment system as well. Left to the steering wheel is, of course, that 6.6-inch touchscreen. That's where you can actually check your trip mileage, adjust the heads-up display, or play with the car's adjustable traction management system. As part of the 2026 changes, every Corvette now has a new PTM Pro drive mode. This turns off traction control and ESC, but not ABS. Some E-Ray specific front axle action also stays live. Basically, it takes off the training wheels for anybody who really wants to, test out their abilities. The screen to the left of the wheel is obviously touchscreen as well, which is pretty impressive. The center console itself has a significantly different layout. The old rotary drive mode knob is now a toggle switch that shares a space with the gear selector. Getting rid of the wall of buttons made room for the grab handle. I'm going to leave that up to you as to whether or not you like that. The grab handle still is fairly significantly large, so it still does cut off the passenger a good bit. I feel like they could have kind of gotten rid of that completely and made it a little bit nicer, but either way, I'm still digging what I see here. While Chevy hasn't released all the details about the 2026 Corvette lineup, including pricing, it did mention a few other options. The E-Ray and Z06 are now available with blue brake calipers to match the ZR1, and the ZR1's ZTK Performance Package adds upgraded brakes. That means 10-piston front calipers and 6-pot rear units that clamp dinner-sized carbon ceramic rotors. So that's a huge one right there, guys. 10-piston front brake calipers for the ZR1 ZTK package. This is no doubt why we haven't seen a ZR1 be built yet, because that is something that is all new. That is something that we have not seen on any of the test cars. Apparently these ZTK cars are coming with 10 piston front calipers. That's insane. So anyway, guys, that is the new interior. Those are all the new options coming for 2026 that we've seen so far. What do you think? Let me know down below. Is this new interior for you or not? Smash the thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And as always, guys, stay obsessed.